guys! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss the relationship of the volumes of solid figures, Quarter 4, Module 1. I'm your teacher for today, Teacher Margz. At the end of the lesson, we are going to determine the relationship of the volume between a rectangular prism and a pyramid. Determine the relationship of the volume between a cylinder and a cone. And determine the relationship of the volume between a cylinder and a sphere. But before we proceed with our lesson for today, let us discuss first the meaning of volume. When we say volume, it is a three-dimensional space occupied by solid, liquid, or gas. Also, it is the amount of space that a substance or object occupies or that is enclosed within a container. Now, what is the volume of a solid figure? The volume of a solid figure is the amount of space inside the solid figure. Volume is measured in cubic units, which refers to the number of cubes of a given size that can fill the solid figure. The method for determining the volume depends on its shape. The volume of a solid is measured in cubic units like cubic centimeter, cubic meter, or cubic feet. Let us have again what's the meaning of solid figures. When we say solid figures, these are three-dimensional figures that has length, width, and height. There are various solid figures like rectangular prism, pyramid, cylinder, cone, and sphere. These solid figures are related to one another, especially in computing the volume of each figure. Now let us move on to the relationship of volumes of solid figures. Among the solid figures, there are various relationships related to their volumes. These relationships of volume of solid figures are the following. First, we have the relationship of rectangular prism and pyramid. Second, the relationship of cylinder and cone. And the third one is the relationship of cylinder and sphere. Let us first discuss the relationship of rectangular prism and pyramid. Rectangular prism is a prism with a pair of rectangular bases with 6 faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices. In order to find the volume of a rectangular prism, you need to multiply the base area to its height. The base is equal to the length and width of the rectangular prism. The formula in finding the volume of a rectangular prism is volume is equals to base times height, or volume is equals to length times width times height, where V is equals to volume, W stands for the width, B stands for the base, L stands for the length, and H stands for the height. Then what is a pyramid? A pyramid is a polyhedron whose base is a polygon and the lateral faces are triangles. In order to find the volume of a pyramid, you need to consider the pyramid's base and height and the rectangular prism's base and height. If the pyramid and rectangular prism have the same base and height, the volume of the pyramid is 1/3 the volume of the rectangular prism. Now, in order to find the formula in finding the volume of a pyramid, we're going to use volume is equals to 1/3 base times height. Or volume is equals to 1/3 length times width times height. Now let us observe the given example. We have here a rectangular prism whose measure length is equals to 5 units, width 3 units, and height 6 units. And we also have a pyramid that has a measurement of length 5 units, width 3 units, and height 6 units. If the pyramid and the rectangular prism have the same base and height, therefore, the volume of the pyramid is 1/3 of the volume of the rectangular prism. So, from the given example, the volume of the rectangular prism is 90 cubic units. So, we are going to get 1/3 of 90 cubic units to get the answer of the volume of the pyramid, which is 1/3 of 90 is 30 cubic units. Or you can apply the formula, which is volume is equals to 1/3 length times width times height. Let us move on to the second relationship of the solid figure, which is the relationship of cylinder and a cone. When we talk about cylinder, this is a solid figure with two congruent and parallel circular bases connected by a curved surface, and it has no vertex. In order to find the volume of the cylinder, you need to multiply the circular base area and the height. The circular base area is equal to pi times radius squared. So, the formula in getting the volume of a cylinder is volume is equals to pi r squared height, where V stands for the volume, R stands for the radius, and pi is equivalent to 3.14, and H stands for the height. Cone is a solid figure with a circular base and one vertex. In order to find the volume of the cone, you need to consider the cylinder's base and height and the cone's base and height. If the cone and cylinder have the same base and height, the volume of the cone is 1/3 the volume of the cylinder. To find the volume of a cone, we have to use this formula. Volume is equals to 1/3 pi r squared height. Let us observe the given example. We have here a cylinder and a cone. They both have the same height, which is 6 units, radius 2 units. So, we are going to apply the formula in finding the volume of a cylinder, which is pi r squared height, and the formula in finding the volume of a cone, which is 1/3 pi r squared height. Now, as you can see, the cylinder and the cone has the same base and height. So therefore, the volume of the cone is 1/3 the volume of the cylinder. So as you can see, the answer in finding the volume of the cylinder here is 75.36 cubic units, where the volume of a cone here is 25.12 cubic units. So therefore, if you observe these two, the answer for the volume of the cone is 1/3 of the volume of the cylinder. Next, we have the relationship of cylinder and sphere. For this, you should remember that a circle on the sphere with the same center as the sphere has an area of pi multiplied with radius squared. If the same circle is the base of the cylinder that contains the sphere, the volume of the cylinder would be the area of its base times height. So, in finding the volume of a cylinder, we are going to use volume is equals to 2 pi r cubed. Always remember that the height of the cylinder is twice that of the radius of the sphere. Now, what is a sphere? A sphere is a simple closed surface formed by a set of points in space that are at the same distance from its center. In order to find the volume of the sphere, you need to consider that the sphere does not fill the full cylinder. Rather, the volume of the sphere is two-thirds the volume of the cylinder. Now, to find the volume of a sphere, we have to use the formula volume is equals to 4 over 3 pi r cubed. So let us observe the given example. So we have here a cylinder and a sphere with the same height and radius. The height is 6 units and the radius is 2 units. If we are going to use the formula, we are going to get the volume of a cylinder, which is 50.24 cubic units, and for the sphere, which is 33.49 cubic units. So we have to remember that the volume of the sphere is two-thirds the volume of the cylinder. So therefore, if the volume of the cylinder is 50.24 cubic units, we are going to get two-thirds of this in order to get the volume of the sphere. So we have two-thirds of 50.24 is 33.49 cubic units. So the volume of the sphere is 33.49 cubic units. Now, there you have it. I am just showing to you the relationship of volumes of solid figures, the relationship of rectangular, prism, and pyramid, cylinder and cone, and cylinder and sphere. Always remember that if the pyramid and rectangular prism have the same base and height, the volume of the pyramid is one-third the volume of the rectangular prism. If the cone and cylinder have the same base and height, the volume of the cone is one-third of the volume of the cylinder. And the volume of the sphere is two-thirds the volume of the cylinder. So after discussing our lesson, let us do this activity. All you have to do is draw the solid figure and write the name of the solid figure that matches and relates to the solid figure being described below. Thank you. That would be all for today. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube channel. This is Teacher Marge saying goodbye.